What does it mean to be resilient? For me, it's about pushing through the storm, even when it won't let you. There's going to be times in your life where people will close and cut you off. You're going to have to deal with that in real time to reduce the stress, the anxiety, through a controlled breath. Resilience is the ability to accept, understand, process and grow through the emotional pain. I want to create experience and moments where we can talk freely and learn. Resilience doesn't care about backgrounds, beliefs or biases. Just dive deep and the wisdom shall follow.
This individual is an entrepreneur. He's a music artist. He's also a podcaster and also done radio himself as well. I want to introduce you to Yakil.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm blessed, thank you.
Are you good?
Yes.
So, where are we going to start? So we was kicking it off with the business side of things.
Yes.
So,
yeah, actually, before being a businessman, if that's a word, I would say that a video that a friend sent me back in 2009, in December 2009, that was Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret. And when I watched that video, listening to the guy say, what's wrong with men today? Men simply do not think. And that's what he went on and explained how we become what we think about. And that specific sentence actually changed the way I look at things. And I got myself on a journey to improve my life, to become better. I started to read more book about self-help and personal development. That led me to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I read that about 3 times. I underlined it. And that also led me to read Lead the Field, which is a book by Earl Nightingale, and so many other books. And one thing led to another. I ended up working with different business partners in a network marketing, multi-level marketing business, where I learned a lot of the skills that it takes to become a business or an entrepreneur. And I ended up having someone like Darren Hardy as a mentor through his various programs, such as Insane Productivity and the likes. And so that's how led me to do various kind of businesses. You have to realize, as a DJ as well, a radio presenter, or even as a DJ playing for in clubs, pubs, and weddings, anniversary, birthdays, and different kind of events. You have a service, you run a business that you give to, you show your skills to various kind of people, and you get paid for it. And at times, initially, I didn't take it seriously, but I've actually invested money in buying the equipment to then start, making money on the back of it. So if you treat a business seriously, then the money will also be serious.
So you actually had a business show, if I can remember rightly, and yes. I can remember listening to this on one of our local radio stations that we have here, and it was very insightful, because the difference is especially what I'm trying to bring to the podcast here as well, that I want to speak to people that are genuinely in the mix. So we're not already these influencers, we're not on Instagram like, with this crazy perception that everything's okay. Like the normal life, the normal people are here every day, and they're the people I want to talk to. So I kind of got the feeling when I used to listen back to your show that that's also who you were trying to speak to, just the everyday person, to try to elevate them to get to the next level, whether it was business side, motivating somebody to get them up and going, and put their ideas. I think 2000 last year, 2023, I think was one of the years that most new businesses failed.
Okay, they are all on an 8-year span.
Yeah, I did see something online that 2023 people that were going ahead and thinking about creating a new business and didn't really go through with it to the end. Why do you think that is? Why do we stop?
Well,
obviously we've got
yes.
things like finances and overheads, but
I think when you, let's say for example, what make is your phone? Samsung.
yeah,
Okay. For 8 years ago, Samsung were probably not so big on the mobile phone scene. 10 years ago, even less. Probably Nokia and Apple. But Nokia, where is Nokia now? You look at Kodak. They could have taken advantage of all this Instagram and photography. So my point is, at times, failure is part of success. But when you give up, that's when you failed. You still have to without being, to be obstinate into what you want to achieve, you still have to realize you've got a goal. And when you don't reach your goal, you set new deadlines, and then you move on to achieving your goals. And sometimes it could be twists and turns, but you still have to persevere. And why do we persevere? Because we have faith. We believe that what we do is going to happen, then we're going to achieve it. However, when we are not sure on the journey that we take, we probably will not attain it. For people who actually, I'm not talking as an expert, but for those who see it as the finances did not work, they still have to look into themselves what went wrong and then fix it on the next business endeavors. And that is why I mentioned the DJing, because it was still a learning curve without realizing it.
I believe great, fantastic what you said there. I believe with the giving up part. So sometimes you are going to have to take a bit of a loss. Even if you didn't forecast it, you didn't project that was going to happen. However, if you think about the prep and time that's taken for you to get to that stage, and then you to throw it all away just to go, oh well, that didn't work. I feel that, if the idea didn't work, fair enough. But if you're quitting or stopping that business, calling it a halt because financially it didn't work at the end of the year, but you could be potentially chucking away a fantastic idea. And I think the thought about that is about keeping up that motivation, isn't it? And seeing the dream through.
Yes and no. Okay. Why do I say yes and no? The thing, sometimes we hear it all the time. What we dream about, we all have. It's about setting. For me, it's about setting goals, because we can visualize or have a dream about what we want to achieve in our lives, and either exceed it or go under it. But as entrepreneurs, they never give up. They always try different kind of things. They try this, they do this, and I think I don't say that I don't think I was an entrepreneur at heart. At times I just stopped myself from doing so many other things and just focus. And thanks to my mentor Darren Hardy, I just started doing 3 goals per year, not per year, but 3 goals at a time. That I just focus on.
If I stop you right there,
yes.
In regards to setting 3 milestone goals,
yes.
I would probably say, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
It's so much more achievable.
Yes.
So it goes back from when I was studying. So when I would look at something and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this piece of work, or this year is going to be huge. The anxiety builds up in the chest, and you're like, oh my god, you can't see the end. And a good friend kind of pointed me in that direction of kind of looking at it as baby steps. So look at it as, okay, this week or this month I've got this assignment due. So you just look at it just in little bits. And when you get to the end of it, you've achieved it, and then you move on to the next bit. And I think that works a lot with different parts of life as well. So it could be in your career. So you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to get to this step first. This is my salary. However, because we was talking about inspirational goals last week with Casey, who came into the studio, and the inspirational part is at the end, it's the kind of the gift. So you've taken your baby steps, but you're working towards this inspirational goal. It's keeping you going. So I think if you change it from a desperational goal to an inspired goal, you're going to be more inclined to meet these small baby steps and have these small milestones.
How do you set your goals?
How do I set them?
Yes.
In baby steps. So,
Baby steps.
so generally, I have a goal around fitness. I have a goal around finances and career. And family is always there. So that is kind of a ongoing hitting that target.
Okay. So for each goal, that is then again a technique that Brian Tracy do show people about setting SMART goals. You might have heard them before, when all of the goals, whatever they are, financial, health, or family goals. The Wheel of Life is also a great thing to use. The SMART goals is all your goals. They have to be specific, they have to be measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. So specific, like in terms of the fitness, is always the good one, because they say, I want to lose weight, which is not specific. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to lose 5 pounds. That's become more specific. And you have to be able to measure it. That means you have to track your goals. You have to be able to say, okay, I was on 90 kilos, and then a week later I'm on 2 kilos. How did I lost 2 kilos, and what did I do? What did I eat, and so forth? So I need to look after. So you measure it. So it has to be attainable. So you cannot just be like, okay, in a month I'm gonna, it's something that you know within you that you can actually do by doing exercise and fitness and so forth. And realistic, then again, you're not going to do it within, I'm going to lose 10 kilos in a week. Realistically, it's not possible. And you have to give yourself a deadline. And that's where time sensitive comes about.
The SMART objectives are very relevant for me, because I use them at work for another
purpose.
But I do implement them in my life as well, because I feel without reflecting or keeping a bit of a journal, whether it's on a piece of paper or a book or even in your head, actually, you can quickly go back just to see where you are, and you can also have a look at, actually, am I in time?
You trust your memory?
Do I trust my memory?
Because you say you keep it in your mind, in your head.
If they're small, short milestone goals, I generally will keep exercising them in my head often. And the reason I do that, because I consciously want to be working on these things on a daily basis. So if I get to the end of the week, I'll say to myself, okay, what have I achieved? So it's almost like you're breaking it down. But generally, I do like journaling. So that's
I do journaling as well. I did it a lot. I think I've got 7 journals.
7 journals
over the years, and that was a daily thing. Recently, it's more. At the time, I used to journal like 6 times a week, so every day, apart from my Sabbath day. And but then recently I've only writing into Darren Daily Journal, which is 5 times a week. And yes, it's powerful. I'll say journaling is powerful, because you're transferring your ideas into paper, which then makes it more tangible.
It also kind of touches on the cusp of manifesting and scripting, doesn't it? Because you're bringing that idea from here, like you said, to paper, but you also point it out to the universe to make that 100%. Happen. And that's the first action, actually. Well, it's actually probably the second action, because it started up here, now it's here, and now it's there. So
things that we see, they actually started in someone's head. This microphone was in someone's head. Electricity was in someone's head. you know, and so many other things that were in someone's head. But then they worked at it, and like Thomas Edison said, it didn't fail to make the electric bulb, but he failed 10,000 times until he got it to work perfectly. You know, so, and that is what we have to do sometimes. You know, another one of my mentor, Dr. Myers Monroe, said, "You don't want to be the wealthiest man in the cemetery." So what he meant is, you don't want to go without having shared your knowledge or your skills. And then that's why I ended up doing so many other things: podcasting, DJing, writing, making music, and so forth. You don't want your music to die with you. You don't want. There are so many people in the cemetery. That's why he said the wealthiest man in the cemetery. Like, there will be people who got books in them, but they never wrote it. You know, they had songs that they never recorded.
Just get it out there.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting, actually, because it touches on to like your purpose of life, really. Because what are you here for? Are you here just to go to work?
For me, is to serve.
To serve.
To serve your skills, your talent. We're all we're all connected some way, somehow. Each one of us at one point in life, we are here at the right time, at the right moment. You know, we're all here to serve a purpose, which is to serve the next person, you know, to serve wherever they are. We are all one race. We're all spiritual beings having a terrestrial experience. So we all want to share what we have with everyone else. So what I can do, you probably can't, but I'm serving that skill, that talent with you, with the rest of the world. Michael Jackson did that. Michael Jordan did that. You know, J.P. Getty did that. Bill Gates did that. You know, Steve Jobs and so forth, and even yourself. You know, Harry. Everyone, we've got something. So each one of us makes a whole. So we are all important, and that is, and it's crucial. Sometimes we have to sit back and say, we matter. I am enough. I matter. I am important. You know, without being too much. You are that
piece to the puzzle as well. It's
Exactly.
not like you're a lost person over here.
No.
So just because person A is qualified and experienced in one sector, it doesn't mean that person B is qualified in a different area.
Yeah, I mean,
together.
Sometimes the school system,
and that's
show that, you know, it influences that. Without, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to bring a point that you actually said, because especially in today's generation with social media, people comparing themselves too much. But you have to realize, and I think Albert Einstein said it, if you want to measure the intelligence of a fish by climbing a tree, then the fish will always think that he is dumb. But a fish is made for swimming. A monkey can climb a tree, you know. But we cannot just give everybody the same test, because a fish is good at swimming, is within it. He's got to see, he knows how to swim. But a monkey doesn't know how to swim, but he can't climb a tree. But if you have to judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, you're probably gonna think he's dumb. But a fish can swim, and doesn't mean that he has to restrict themselves to swimming, but that is what is good, and he knows he has it in them. So it's up to us now to discover what we have, what we are made for, and through that it requires sometimes a lot of to dive deep into ourselves.
I love it. No, it's an amazing way to put it, actually, because everybody's got something to bring to the table. That's what I think. I think that's where that saying comes from. Bring it to the table. Also, excuse me, I was looking at one quote the other day. Day by day, what you think and what you do is who you become. So, again, you know, you are every day putting your work into your craft. Every day you are serving the purpose, becoming a purpose, becoming a server, but also you are educating others, who are growing up underneath you
Yes.
or side by side, but it's also making you who you become when you get
a better person.
to that end.
Yeah, very true. I mean, when you talk about the education, and that's why I started the podcast, Le Nouveau Congolais, which is French for the new Congolese. I do it in French. I'm originally from the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I've noticed that we can only become better if we change. The country can become better if the leaders were to change their way of thinking. But who's the leader? Everyone can be a leader, you know, in their fields of work. So that podcast is mostly I'm recording it to help people, Congolese people, mostly, or French-speaking Congolese people, to think differently.
So I was going to come on to your podcast. So
Yes.
you're a busy man. That's all I know. Firstly, you're very, very busy, but you're looking to. Over the year, there'll be 52 episodes.
That's right. So I've recorded a few. So is one episode every Thursday on Spotify. And I've written so far, 33 episodes. I've recorded 23.
Okay.
So I kind of write ahead and then record ahead as well. And then, thanks to technology, schedule it to be released on the Thursday. So that gives me the time to then focus on others. And life carries on. I'm a father, I'm a husband, so I have to be there for them. I've got friends, I've got work, I've got so many other things. And so in my spare free time, I do that. So it's ready, recorded, and then be available for the audience.
Can you give us a bit of insight into what it's about then? Just a bit of context around
so
that.
It is, like I said, Le Nouveau Congolais, the new Congolese, is personal development education about helping Congolese to discover their inner leader. So I talk mostly, personal development, leadership, not mental health, but the politics of what's going on in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is a wealthy country with poor people. You know, there is at the moment a crisis in the eastern of the Congo where a lot of the wealth is actually coming in Europe, and then most of the people in the DRC are benefiting from it. But it's not always, and try not to point the fingers towards the Western powers, but it's also the leadership of the country that is at fault. And that's why I want, the more people start to look differently, then things will look different as well.
Is there a certain persona that you're trying to reach out to? Is there a certain target of individuals?
It's mostly the Congolese. That one is aimed at the Congolese audience. Is in French.
Any age from
any Congolese person or friends of Congo will listen to it. They will learn something from it. And I think if you want to learn French, you might as well listen to it. But yes, it is some advice. Some of them are also personal. There is a story that I tell there of my granddad. On my dad's side, he actually was very good at collecting rubber for the Belgians in the colonial times that we talk about in the 1920s. And he was that good. He managed to collect for 2 days because they had to do it every day. So he collected enough rubber for 2 days, give one day, and then save the other one to give the following day so he could spend time with his family. But he got caught by the Belgian authorities. So they said since he's that good, then he can produce even more. And then he didn't want the same for my dad. So he sent my dad away to live with his brother-in-law. So that is my grandma's brother. So he sent them away in a different area, and then he had more opportunity to actually study. And he ended up becoming a lawyer later on. But stories like that I actually talk about to show, the what's wrong with colonialism. The Belgian Congo, Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo was colonized by the Belgians, and so that history of Leopold II, I do talk about it and how he relates to today's time, because there is a greed that happened back then that's still happening today. So we have now learned the lesson, because we have now learned the lesson of history, and it's important that we look into history, read history, follow history, and so mistakes from the past could be stopped or rectified. And yes,
is there a lot of opportunities for people there in regards to kind of building up your career, I suppose, and also kind of with the advice, I suppose, that you're providing your students, would you say?
100%. Of course there is. I've got something down the line, which is more of obviously nowadays you can as well become a life coach. It is but it's not regulated. It's all fairly new, but you can help people to become better individuals with that. And yes, so there is a market, and in the French-speaking world less. So I'm able to speak both languages, French and English, so I can offer that service to that audience. So yes, there are opportunities that I'm also looking into. That's the entrepreneurial mind ticking and working. And yes, you can offer people a lot of service. So that's what I said, especially nowadays, it was different. And with the benefit, the financial benefit that you get from it, you can always invest it to build the wall that financial wall that nothing can get to your family, and create that generational wealth that's gonna help your kids and grandkids.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of really, really good things for people, and I admire that again as a friend. But I just feel in the long term that's really going to be changing people's lives if you're putting them in the right path, making them aware, providing information from previous experiences. And again, it goes back to the purpose or serving. To serve. I like that.
Service to many leads to greatness.
For everybody who may be joining now, you're listening to Radio Fazan 97.1 FM. This is the Dive Deep Wisdom Podcast with your host, Harry Caspier. And today we've got Yakil in. We've been discussing lots of stuff, haven't we?
Yes.
So there's a couple of bits that are still
need to explore.
Need to dive deep a little bit further.
I've not even talked music yet.
We haven't got to music yet. So you also do a lot of writing. So when I mean writing, you're an author as well?
Yes, under a pen name, which is Angel Carré. I also use that name for the podcast. I have published 4 books.
Wow.
3 in French, 1 in English.
Now, what I want to ask you is, when have you been doing this? Is this the time that we haven't seen each other? Because you are, like I said before, you are very productive in what you do. You keep yourself very, very busy. Where did you find the time to write 4 books?
Between you and me and Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama or Rishi Sunak, we all have 24 hours.
We do.
So it's how you use those 24 hours that makes the whole difference. So once you realize that and you know that, then you'll be able to use your time more productively. And that comes down to then saying no to so many other things and just focus on your goals. And yeah, that's how I find time to do what I do.
Give me an example of a of a week's timeline then, because I get the 24 hours.
Okay, yeah.
We've got to get it in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go? What is your routine around writing?
Okay. So let's say I have when I'm in the writing mode. So I wake up every day at 5 o'clock.
Every single day.
Yeah. Well, besides the Sabbath day, which is today, and Sunday as well, I kind of wake up when I'm ready. So it's important to get enough sleep. So for the first 15 minutes, I give thanks to my creator. And then I start the first 15 minutes, I read the book that I'm focusing on. So at the moment, I'm reading Brian Tracy's book, Goals. And then I listen to 15 minutes audio. At the moment, it is John C. Maxwell, Develop the Leader in You. That is an audio book for 15 minutes. I listen to that. And then as a Christian, I read the Bible. But you could be of different faith and you can read other books as well. But I'm talking about myself. And then for the last 15 minutes, that's when I journal. I write in my journal and I watch Darren Hardy, Darren Daily, which is about 5-10 minutes. It gives us an idea, and I take notes of it in the journal. And that's my first hour done. That is before I wake up or do anything. And then yes.
Just to go back onto that morning routine, do you find that completing your most challenging and difficult tasks in the morning provides you a good leverage for the rest of the day?
100%.
How important is that? So I've started to implement that myself, actually. And I haven't got to the 5 o'clock club yet. 5 a.m. I'm trying that. But I do find if I plan and organize my generally, challenging tasks before 10, 11 o'clock, get everything done, I feel that the rest of my day just flows.
There you go. And it's that, because then if you don't do that, what's important to you, what matters to you, you're only going to play catch up. And one thing I wanted to lead to as well is to have chunks of time when you work on something. So this is something that I learned from Darren Hardy as well, is the 90 minutes chunks, which is jam session. So for 90 minutes, I put my phone on airplane mode so no one can get a hold of me. And then I'm in the house or wherever I'm working on. For 90 minutes, I'm just focusing on that, whether it is writing the book or recording the audio program that is for this year. And when I was recording my album all those years ago, I did the same process. That's why I was able to do it. And everything that I do it in chunks of 90 minutes. And then that gives me the time after to do whatever.
That's amazing. I don't know if you've seen online, not recently, I said, and I suppose it's quite a simple way of doing things, but there is people using stopwatches a lot more. So what I mean by this, that you can actually buy specific stopwatches, not just a standard alarm clock or anything, but it's specifically designed for you to separate your tasks. It's almost like a buzzer. So you put your buzzer on and you can plug it anywhere, and you know that you have this segment to do what you need to do. Do you find that's working against the time helps you?
Well, if in a way, the stopwatch, I'm not really a fan of it. I know why people actually do that. But if you already set it, when you have the stopwatch, you're actually distracting yourself because you have to look into stopping it. So I think it becomes a distraction, and it moves away from your purpose. You know yourself. You know that it's like almost like work. So between 10 and 11:30, this is what I'm going to do. This is the project I'm going to be working on. It could be financial. It could be, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you need those time. And it's 90 minutes. It's not 95. It's not 120 minutes. It's 90 minutes. It could be 60 minutes if you choose to.
I see with the time thing, you could also be saying to yourself, it's almost like you're wishing away your time if it's too much.
Yes.
Watchy of the clocky.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not good. And we lose focus. We get distracted easily. And even when we've got monkey brain that distracts us. By doing that, you can, oh yeah, I need to do this. I need to wash this. I need to, and then that you straight away you can veer off, and that's why I put my phone on airplane mode so nobody can get hold of me, because someone can send you a text.
That is your time.
Yeah, and someone can send you a text, or whatnot, and then you veer off. And to catch up, to be in the mode again of concentration, they say it takes you 25 minutes, so you can see that what you're gonna lose.
So recently, I've had an epiphany about getting things done now, right away. So if I have an idea, I will try to get it down. Everyone's got phones, you've got your notepads, get it down, and then timeline it to figure out how you're going to get it done. One quote I was looking at: one day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things that you've always wanted. Do it now. And it was the same with this idea of this show. So I had the idea, and the day later I just acted on it and thought, right, I'm going to get this done.
And I applaud you for that, because I procrastinate a lot. There's so many other things that I've always wanted to do, but I do procrastinate, and I have to push myself to like you said, to do things now and just not push it back is easy. And what led us to, I found out, is fear and doubt. And it's also a level of self-esteem. Sometimes if you think you're not good enough, you're not going to do it. It's like, well, why bother?
You've already cancelled the idea before it's even born. You're not putting yourself in the right mindset, because that's another very important thing that I've had to recently adjust to certain circumstances in order to make me the most productive, best person I can possibly be. And with that thinking, I just feel I get things done. Like I say, I target on things, and I set my goals. I reflect on them, what's missing, what's needed, and I get them done. In regards to your books, so what are the 4 titles?
Okay, so the 2 are translations of The Stranger Secrets. I translated from English to French because it's the book that led me into wanting to learn more. Lead the Field, which I also translated. It was a Earl Nightingale's book. I translated in French into Comment devenir un leader, how to become a leader. And then the third one is a collection of what I've learned from different philosophers, from Jim Rohn to Dr. Myles Munroe, Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Darren Hardy, Dennis Waitley. So all their wisdom. I then wrote it in Lingala, which is a language spoken in the Congo, Bafungola Bomengo, which translates to the keys of success.
So you've not only had to write it in English, you've had to
French or Lingala, because I want it. There are not many books of that kind, and I want it to be.
I get why you're getting up at 5 a.m. now.
Yes, so,
utilizing that day.
Yes, and then the final one, which is Where To, the Taxi Chronicles. These are the story of a taxi driver.
Tell me a bit more about this one, because this is the one I was intrigued about, because it sounds like almost like a film that I've seen, but it's got your own.
Yeah,
it would be a great film, by the way. If you want to tell
everybody. A TV series, yes, it is a taxi driver. The cities could be Nottingham, it could be anywhere in the UK, and his customers, and they share their stories, and you have different characters. There is a Nigerian nurse who just moved to the UK, and they have a conversation with the driver. There is an old woman who lived in France most of her lives, and then she came back and started living back in the UK, and she tells us about her experience living in France and in America. She met a few people during the civil rights movement, and there is also another engineer who deals with artificial intelligence and also with robotics. There is a Pakistani guy who is a Michael Jackson fan and a Man City fan, and it's all those conversations you hear in a taxi.
Yeah, so what really resonated with me on this one, it's more the psychology part of it, that you're tapping into different people's experiences, different backgrounds, what they're doing, what they're up to, and this one taxi driver is soaking it all in. And it's almost, I mean, I definitely would love to see this as a TV series.
It'll be love. No, seriously. And it actually started initially is a Papa Wemba song that actually inspired me to write the book, Chauffele, which means chauffeur, so driver. So I initially wanted to make it as a TV series, but it took a while for me to get through to doing it, and then I thought, how about just making like mini stories and then into a book and those little stories, and then later on, who knows, it might get picked up I believe it's gonna get picked up, but I need to start somewhere rather than start at the end. So begin with the end in mind. So the end was the TV series or the movies, but then I have to start somewhere, and the book was what I could within my capacity to accomplish, and that's why it's about 23 stories in that in the Taxi Chronicles.
Hats off to you, and like I say,
Thank you.
I can't give you any more props in regards to your productivity and spreading the awareness, creating your purpose.
Thank
It's
you.
just a beautiful, magical thing. And I think what you've said at the beginning of this about taking it to the graveyard.
The wealthiest man in the cemetery. You don't want to be the wealthiest man in the cemetery. You want to share your gift.
We
with
don't
everyone.
we don't take anything with us, but what we can do is leave stuff behind.
Yeah, we come out crying, and then when we leave, you have to leave the people laughing.
Okay. Are you writing another story? This sounds like another back to front story.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not trying to portray myself as know it all. I tell people to stand on the shoulders of giants, and it's through books, it's through reading, and they're also being able to share their knowledge with us, and have the greater purpose and aim that's out there. It all comes from somewhere. We are only a conduit of all that, and even with our children come through us. Like Barack Obama's parents. They raised him. They gave him what he needed to be the person that he is today. And all of us so our children come through us. It's a continuity, so it's almost never ending. So, but it comes, whether it's the ideas, the time we're in. So that's why I said we're here for a purpose, for a specific reason. And we have to have a positive attitude towards everyone. We have to do everything with love. Love is the greatest emotions that do so many things. And when you do things with love, it's easy. But if you try to find any other interest, whether it's material or any other things, you might struggle. You might not get there to where you want to get to. Almost like Michael Jackson's dad. He didn't get to music. He was a musician as well. He didn't get to where he wanted to get to, but then he saw, I can, the skills or the knowledge I have, I can pass it on to the children. But it's only Michael Jackson who was actually super stellar.
It took that.
So, and even him as well, he was on a different journey. It took him from ABC to Thriller a good 10, 15 years. In the meantime, he was working hard, doing whatever he was doing. So we all have something special within us.
Just before we move on to your musical career, which again, lots to talk about with that. Living in the present, I just want to touch on that, because what does it mean to you?
Living in the present means now is eternal. This moment is eternal. So that's what it is. That means what you do now lasts for forever. Like the second gone is the past. The second coming is not yet to come. But now is eternal. The moment now, it never ends. It's there now. So
I think it's quite a special thing to acknowledge that and understand it, because I believe the way we are, I'm going to use the word programmed, we constantly think about the past and what's happened. It's a natural thing that we will our thought process will go thinking about stuff and worry, but we'd also worry and think about things in the future that's not even happened. Now, for a lot of people, that's a problem.
And I can see why it can be a problem. Then again, I'm not a therapist, but apprehension, you don't know what's going to happen. Just do what needs to happen. This moment is all that you have, so you have to carpe diem, like they say in Latin. So make the most of it and enjoy it, and do what needs to be done in that moment. As long as you stay within the rules of the law of human laws and the creator of the universe law, within those rules, you will be fine. And because you all play a role, you all fit in.
There's a lot of stress and anxiety that comes from thinking far too ahead for things that have not even actually existed or happened. And do you meditate at all?
Yes, I mean the 15 minutes that I take before starting and everything. That's the. It's not meditation. I try to meditate, which is it can take longer because you have to really be still. So I pray. I'll say I pray. Meditate it has to be a separate occasion, but I don't do it as often as I would like.
I think there's quite a few different perceptions of meditation. So for me, it would mean essentially nothingness. So at the point I'm trying not to think about anything really. So any traffic, I mean, you do get some traffic that comes in and out of your mind and your thoughts. However, what I do is I would strip away my character or anything to do with my physical tangible self and think about I or the is. And for me, because I do the same as well, I'll probably take about 15 to 10 minutes a day. And for me, that's enough just to get my just to get my soul into a place that can keep me moving throughout the day. To actually go, there's the infinite intelligence in here, which is driving me forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I need to give time for that.
Yes.
And I don't believe we do that enough. I don't think we are looking after that.
I think it's a personal experience. I think even with during this period of Ramadan for Muslims is the same thing, because you then reconnect with yourself. You know, when you, as a Christian, I also do fast. When you don't eat, so you don't have access to physical food, or you tend to return to yourself and start thinking, and it brings you back to yourself. There is
when you say return to yourself,
mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, return to yourself is your core, what makes you you. Then again, what makes you you is what makes you Harry. So we all come from the same source. So, and that is that source that we can then choose to dig more from, and that's what makes some people bigger or lesser. But if they choose to then take, it's like an ocean. Let's say, for example, like the ocean is big, massive water, but some people have like a spoonful of that ocean, and some people have a bucket. So the aim, we have to want to have more of that ocean, or H2O, in us, and that is the source. I hope it's a perfect. It's clear, or it does make sense. So return to yourself is to return to what makes you a person, makes you your spirit.
I believe it really grounds you as well. It takes you, if you're going through a traumatic event or something terrible has happened to you, I believe with returning back to yourself, you actually realize that most of this stuff that you're worrying about, whether it's materialistic, the emotional hurt or whatever you're going through, you realize that actually it doesn't actually exist.
Or it makes sense. You worry about nothing. It's sometimes, and 10 out of time, I mean, the real worry that we could have usually is 8%, of things that can happen. Most of the time, why did I worry? It didn't even happen. Most of the time, things that you should really stress or worry about is usually like the serious stuff. The serious stuff is 8% on average, and that's not me saying it.
I'll be honest, I'm sure a lot of people do it out there, but we do naturally just worry about stuff that...
And we shouldn't.
And we shouldn't. Yeah, this is the thing. And you catch a tram on a Monday morning, and you look across, or the bus or whatever, and you look across the people, and everybody's just either down in their head with the phones or whatever they're doing. Sometimes I do wonder when I look around about how many of these people around me have taken 10 or 15 minutes to themselves in the morning to really narrow down on themselves before they're going out, or they're in such a rush that they forgot the keys, they forgot the lunchbox, and it's rush. But for me, I just feel like it's just such a valuable thing to do for your soul, to take that time.
But it's a personal. Everybody's on a personal journey, and I think that's the whole difference. It's hard to say, and at times I just what I do. What the well, I understand what you probably think that, but I just look and whatever journey the person they are in, because they probably look at you and then might think the same if they were the kind that actually
exactly,
you know,
what are they thinking about me actually?
Exactly.
So I suppose it is a circle of life.
Yeah, so I don't think I've ever thought that, but I see your point.
Yeah, Akil, the last bit I want to touch base with you is regarding your music. So when I met you many years ago, it's gonna have to be at least over
10. It'll be soon 10 years. No, not even more,
it's
because I don't think my son was born then.
We're talking 15 years.
Yeah,
not
easy.
10.
Wow.
Probably even slightly more.
Yeah.
So I think I believe we connected. No, we didn't.
Straight away. I mean, you came. I mean,
music-wise, I meant.
Music-wise, you only realized that I actually could rap as well, because obviously I'm known as a radio presenter.
Yeah,
as a DJ. So that's the side of me that you knew, but I don't know how you then. Or probably I was already recording and did some recording, and then you were like, oh, you rap as well, you can MC as well, and that's why we said, oh, come to my house, and then we recorded a few stuff. Yeah.
So where's your journey at the moment? So I believe, when was your last album released? Is it
2019?
Yeah, a couple of years
Love
now,
and
yeah.
Light, and it's a project that I've always wanted to do, because it musically, like I said, when I moved to the UK at the turn of the millennium, as an African, I wanted to make hip hop music that reflected my origins. And at the time, I didn't find anyone who related to it. So I ended up doing other things. I thought, okay, you know what? People don't know that music. Sorry. So what I'll do, I will introduce them to that music. And that's how I ended up becoming a DJ. So I could play the music and make people discover that music. So in the meantime, I was still making stuff left and right with other artists and so forth, but I ended up being a DJ just so I could play the music, get people to know that music, and then I can I'll also make that music,
okay,
but I'll mix it with hip-hop. So it was,
so again, this is where your business marketing comes in.
Yeah, exactly. It means to an end, and it was a means to an end. And I wrote for different artists. I'm a writer.
So even ghostwriting.
Yes, I've been writing for artists for years. I mean, as a young kid, and even my mom said, if it's only like in the Congo, they don't believe in writers. You don't make a living being a writer.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but growing up and realizing life is different, and they see, oh, you actually can. Yeah. But at the time, they
strangely enough, we was talking about this last week, and was talking about taking the leap. It was, and having your idea, and people not generally jumping on your bandwagon, or even giving you a bit of support. They may say a few good words, but you know for a fact it's just you on this journey, and you're the only person on this track, on this train.
Yeah.
And people will hop onto this train, and people will hop off the train. They may even come back on it later, but then you will see people later on down the same journey who will jump on the train, and they may stay on even longer with you. And for you, I think coming from Congo as well, and coming here and putting the energy into the music like you do, I just think it's amazing. I mean, you've done a lot of performing.
Yes,
you love the stage. I've seen you plenty of times.
It's a skill, it's a talent. I have it in me as a teenager. I entered competition MC Hammer competition at the time. Yeah, so with the baggy pants and the whole lot. So I did that in my teenage years. So obviously, it's something that I have in me. So I can still dance. I can still move. And sometimes people are surprised, like, wow, 40 plus guy, you're dancing like that. But
you have got moves.
Yeah, and that is because it's in me. And but then again, you also have to realize there is a time for everything. At times, I feel like, okay, that was a time that I could do it. And
you're not going to stop breakdancing, are you? I want to see you breakdancing at 50, 60 plus, please.
No, I'm not going to stop breakdancing. No. But I'll still carry it. The other that's so common, the rapper breakdance moves like.
He looks very good for his age.
Serious,
I'm not too sure how old he is.
He's 50 plus. You know.
I think he's about 56.
Is it?
I think so.
I think is he older than Nas? Nas turned 50 last year. I went to hip hop turned 50. Nas turned 50. So 73. So Rashid.
We're not too far behind, then, are we?
Yeah,
so we're getting there.
We're getting there. We can see it.
What is your in regards to, you know, you've been doing some writing and you're busy with some of your businesses as well. What are the plans going forward now for music? Are you looking to release anything else EP wise? You're going to tone it down and maybe drop a single, or what's the idea?
EP wise, well, I've got a show in June in Nottingham at the Square. It's part of the Green Hustle Festival for the second year. That's lined up. I'll probably perform a new track on it. There is the Love album that I want to record. I keep in with the theme. So the Love album, it will be 100% Zouk. Zouk is a rhythm, is a genre of music in the category of African music. Kizomba, people call it as well, Kizomba. In the Antilles, the Antilles, that's French-speaking Caribbean. They call it Zouk, and I call it Zouk as well. So I wanted to do a album 100% Zouk. So the rhythm will be Zouk.
So that's
and
the
there'll
next
be Love album. That's what I want
project.
to record. That's the next project that I want to record.
One of the really fun days I had with you was when we recorded a music video for you.
#dope.
And we was in this really tiny apartment, if you can remember, and we were like, can you remember that one? And we were in this tiniest little
even way. I mean, love is, yes.
It looked amazing, but I can remember we really had to like be conscious about space and maneuver. You couldn't play Twister in there, but it just takes me back.
It's lovely. Yeah, Divine now lives in China and thriving well, living well. That was my first ever video, and Love Is, and
I filmed that for you, right?
Yes, you did. You did high contrast films.
High contrast,
and it was dedicated to my wife. I wrote that song for my wife, and the Zouk, that's that rhythm. So that song is on the Zouk rhythm, and the whole album. It will be on that rhythm. So at this stage, I'm working with a few producers. There is one producer that I'm working with, and I'm probably going to make like a 9 tracks or 10. It will be shorter than Love and Light. It will be shorter, but it will be all under the theme of love, you know, in all of its aspects. Yes, so you'll be in all of his aspects.
Yakil, I just want to say to you, firstly, thank you so much for coming on the Dive Deep podcast. You certainly brought the wisdom along with you. And what I'm going to take away from this is the knowledge of purpose and knowing that what we're doing is not just going to be diminish, disappear. We're leaving it for somebody, or it's going to be there to help somebody. And I think I'm going to take that home with me
forever. It's a legacy. We all carry each a part of every people that we meet. When you think about it, later in line, you've been with people that you connected with, then you have a bit of them in you, and I have a bit of you in me.
Yeah,
you know, so that's how it is.
the way you've articulated it and the way you've spoken about the stuff today is really touched. So, I just want to thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me,
brother. And I'm sure we will be up to some project at some point.
Oh yeah.
But before we do that, we're going to have some food at some point as well, because I know you're good with the food.
Oh yeah, the kids are as well. So I'll make sure you have some pundu and fufu as well when you come home.
Nice. Thank you very much, Shakil.
Thank you, Harry.